meeting will take place in both English and Spanish. I will give the English instructions first and then the Spanish instructions. To listen in English, the first thing you want to do is in your meeting webinar controls. If you look at your taskbar down in the bottom portion of your computer, if you're joining with a computer, click interpretation. If you've got a smartphone, look for the 3 little dots to be able to access interpretation. Number 2, select the language that you would like to hear. If you'd like to hear in English, click English. And number 3, closed caption. You will see the CC down at the bottom in your taskbar. Please turn on if you need it. Ahora las instrucciones en español. En los controles de la reunión o el seminario web, si mira su barra de tareas, en la parte inferior de su computadora, haga clic en interpretación. Verá el mundito y es donde tiene que hacer clic. Si tiene un teléfono inteligente, busque los 3 puntitos para poder seleccionar interpretación. Haga clic en el idioma que desee escuchar. En esta instancia sería español o Spanish. Y luego número 3, que es opcional, para escuchar solo el idioma interpretado, haga clic en silenciar el audio original. Muchas gracias.
Una pregunta, no tiene ahí la interpretación
Sí.
aquí en el teléfono.
Sí, todavía
no
hemos
abren.
empezado.
Ok, gracias.
Okay, interpretation should be on now.
Welcome,
Charles and
everyone.
Ayana.
Welcome, everyone, to our first meeting of the new year. My name is Ayana Johnson. I'm one of the CSC co-chairs. We're about to get started. So I just wanted to make sure everybody was here and assembled, and let's go. This is our agenda so far. We have it outlined here, everything that we're going to speak on today at the meeting. So we'll start with our welcome interpretation, and we'll go ahead with Charles. Charles?
Then we'll have our charter development activity. Then we'll have a short break. Charter development activity will be continued from 20 minutes, 7:05, 7:25. Report out on our charter development activity, 15 minutes from 7:25 to 7:40. At the end of our night, we will have East Oakland EJ announcements and updates. That's the opportunity for our community members to actually make announcements on things that's happening in the community, or for other environmental justice fighters to announce things that they are doing. And then, of course, we will have our next steps and then our closeout. You want to take that one, Ayana?
So our initial meeting agreements, notes for participation. We'll have 1 mic, 1 voice. Use raise hand functions under reactions at the bottom of your screen. Brace ourselves and one another. Take care of yourself, stretch, drink water, and breathe. Community building on Zoom, use chat, the reaction emojis, and inspire and encourage one another. For any questions throughout the meeting, please use the Zoom chat. CBE and BACMed staff will be responding to your questions. Thank you so much.
You did that very well, Ayana. Thank you. So for our community building, we would like people to type into the chat their name, their preferred pronouns, and affiliated organizations. CSC members, please raise your hand if you're not able to type into chat, and we will have you speak aloud.
So community building, type in the chat your names, pronouns, affiliated organization. CSC members, please raise your hands if you're not able to type into the chat. We'll have you speak aloud.
Next frame, thank you. And Ayana, are you doing our timeline today?
Absolutely. So right now, fall 22, this is our timeline that's up on the screen. Fall 2022, we formatted our CSC memberships and we produced a charter. Winter 2022, we did vision guiding, principles, and community boundaries. And moving forward, spring 2023, we'll begin community profiles and technical assessment. So this is ongoing iterative strategy development. By summer 2023, we'll begin and plan our goals and targets. Fall 2023, we'll begin writing additional plan elements and continue drafting and creating a plan winter 2024. Spring 2024 will complete strategy and development and draft plans, and CSC approves final plan summer 2024. Yay.
That's right. So we got a lot of work to do, you guys, and we got to all do this together. And so we looking for the best teamwork we could possibly have so we can make this dream work for everybody that's here. So would we like to, okay, here we go. So we will be going into our charter development phase. And in that phase, Carissa White will be leading this discussion. And so I would like to pass it over to Ms. Carissa White from BACMed staff.
Thank you so much, Carissa.
Yeah, thank you, Charles, and thank you, Ayana. And hello to everyone else. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Carissa White, and I'm a staff specialist on the community engagement team here at the Air District. And tonight I will be presenting an important part of the CERT process to you all, which is the charter. So we're going to talk about all of the guidelines and rules that you all want to adopt to govern this community or this committee that you will use throughout the steering committee meetings and throughout the development of the CERT as well. And so this part of the process is really important. You know, this is a diverse group of people, and because of the various perspectives and experiences that you all bring, we want to make sure that there's a central governance document that will help us to all work together more collaboratively and more effectively. So tonight I'll spend a little bit more time talking about the charter development process before we go into groups to review, discuss, and get direction from you all on what you want to include in your charter. Thanks for advancing to the next slide. So the California Air Resources Board's AB 617 People's Blueprint outlines and explains the process for establishing charters and governance structures for community steering committees. These governance documents are required for the CERT process and outline how the air districts are supposed to work with community to set out the committee process and structure and develop the CERT. They specifically explain the minimum elements that the charter should include, and those elements are listed on this slide here. And so that includes committee objectives, roles and responsibilities, meeting frequency, meeting dates, time, and locations to ensure accessibility, as well as use of facilitation services and use of interpretation services at CSC meetings, as well as broader public outreach efforts. Next slide, please. So next I want to talk about how we got to our first draft that you all will be reviewing and providing feedback on tonight. So first we reviewed CARB's blueprint for the requirements of a charter. And then from there, we reviewed best practices from other 617 communities, including West Oakland and Richmond, San Pablo. And their charters are linked in this PowerPoint for you guys to review. And we also took a look at other samples from throughout the state as well. Next, we got feedback on the draft outline and draft charter from our co-leads and our co-chairs. And now we're bringing the draft charter to the broader steering committee tonight so we can review and comment on the draft charter as a larger group. Next slide, please. So this slide just provides you all with a high-level snapshot of the charter outline and all the topics we'll be covering tonight. So the broader topics include the statement of purpose and committee objectives, membership, roles and responsibilities, standard committee meeting procedures, amendments, and I think there might have been a part that got cut off, but it's also, we'll be talking about participation principles as well. Next slide, please. Thanks. So now we get to the fun part. For about the next hour or so, we're going to move into breakout groups to participate in a charter activity. So this CSE members will be split into 3 rooms for this activity, and there'll be a 4th room for members of the public to join for open discussion or for a longer break. We'll have 3 rotations in total. The steering committee members will remain in the same room for the entire activity, while our facilitators and note takers of each of the sections will be switching into those breakout rooms. Each rotation should last for about 20 minutes. And just a heads up that we're going to have a 5-minute break after the second rotation. After that 5-minute break, we'll reconvene in our breakout rooms for 1 more rotation before returning to the main Zoom room to do a report out. Each room will appoint either the facilitator or a CSE member to give a 1-minute highlight of their discussion before we open the floor for questions and comments. Next slide, please. And this slide just has links to the Google documents that we'll be using for the activity. We've tried to lump the sections together so we can kind of streamline this process, but you guys can feel free to open up those links on your own, but we'll also be screen sharing this information during the breakouts as well. And with that, I think I'll be handing it over to the person who is going to be facilitating this breakout disbursement.
Thank you, Carissa. Sorry about that. I'm recording the Spanish version, and so I'm trying to be on 2 different screens and computers. But we are about to start the breakout room, and Gabby, I wanted to know how much more time do we need to set up?
Oh, I'm ready. I can start moving people.
Okay.
Okay,
If
great.
you can get us started.
See you all in a bit.
See you guys soon, guys.
And please explain to the general public what room they will be in and why they can't participate.
Yeah, I can just quickly mention, so we have a 4th room that's just for members of the public to join. And so there'll be open discussion in that room, or you can have the option to take a break if you want to.
Entonces, a cualquier grupo podemos entrar.
Usted se queda
So
aquí.
then-
Okay.
So the main room is going to be one of the breakout rooms for Spanish interpretation.
So I thought I was a committee member.
Yeah, you're fine. You'll be here.
Okay.
And just for more context, Jasmine, we actually have a 4th room. We didn't mention the names of the room, but we are in the Beyonce room right now, and because Maria is one of our CSC members and needs the interpretation, we made this main room one of the CSC breakout rooms. And then we have another room called Rihanna, another one called Lizzo, and that also has CSC members. And then the Nikki breakout room is just members of the public to speak to AB 617. All right. Well, Ayana, would you like to get us started? All right, then I can get us started. So hello, everyone. As Carissa mentioned earlier, we are going to be taking about 20 minutes right now so we can focus on talking on a specific section of the charter, the statement of purpose and committee objectives and membership. And so Ayana and I are going to be leading this discussion. And what would be helpful.
Sí, he estado
The ones that are the most impacted or affected, I would like that we should give that work to community members, individuals who have been living for many years and know the things that have happened and are happening in Oakland. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment, Marina. I see Allison is capturing your feedback into the document. And so we'll go back and take a look at all of the great suggestions and comments that we got from you guys tonight and incorporate these edits back into the draft charter. So I think I see everyone back into the main room. So, go ahead.
No, I was just confirming what you saw, that we are returning back to the main room. So let's get this hearty discussion together, y'all.
Yes, thanks, Charles. I think am I passing it back to Just Cities right now, or?
We about to close all the rooms.
Okay.
All
great.
the rooms are closed. Yeah.
I think we need to go to the next step slide on the charter and talk about the next steps.
Give me 1 second.
Okay, thank you, Diana.
I think there might still be some people stuck in one of the breakout rooms, possibly.
Okay, I'll check on that. Thank you.
And Carissa, is this you to talk about the next step section?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. So welcome back, everyone. I hope that you guys enjoyed those breakout sessions. I know that 17 or that 20 minutes really flew by, but we wanted to spend the next 10 or 15 minutes or so just doing a quick report out on the charter activity. And so very quickly, we just wanted to have each of the rooms just do like a quick 1-minute report out on what you guys talked about, or if there was something that really stood out to you. And then we'll open it up to the entire CSC and the main floor to ask any other questions or comments with the remaining 10 minutes or so. So maybe could I have Diana or someone from the Statement of Purpose group do a quick report out?
Yeah, I can pass it on to Jamie.
one of the things our group talked about was making the statement of purpose a little bit more direct and explicit, and it felt very passive, like pollution just happened to us. So naming the historical harms and whatnot that led to the legislation and creation of this group. And then we also talked about the criteria for the steering committee and making sure that we make explicit the requirements of being an East Oakland resident for at least, whatever, 50%, I think, of the board, and the co-chairs particularly being East Oakland residents. Am I only talking about the first two areas, or are we talking about all the breakout room conversations?
Whatever you'd like to highlight in the last 30 seconds.
Okay. So I think we talked also about the amendments and making it having like explicit kind of check-in point throughout this term, so that way we have a accountability place to revisit the charter and not just rely on someone remembering, hey, we maybe should make revisions or update it.
Thanks, Jamie. That was perfect. You literally got that in a minute or less. I made a mistake and forgot to ask for a volunteer to do a report out from the roles and responsibilities in standard committee meeting procedures group. Is there anyone that wants to raise their hand and volunteer really quickly? If not, I can do a quick report out. I want to see if someone from the steering committee wants to summarize some of the feedback that they gave.
Marina has her hand up.
Marina, did you want to share or? Okay, she removed her hand. I'll give a very quick report out. There was a lot of really great discussion around specifically the roles and responsibilities section for the steering committee members, including how we seated the steering committee, specifically who receives stipends, who is able to vote. And I think some folks made some really great suggestions around providing a little bit more description around what those specific sectors mean. And so I think there's a little bit of work that we can go back and do in terms of cleaning up that section, making it a bit clearer, and then also incorporating a lot of the great edits that we got around, just clarifying what those specific roles and responsibilities look like for steering committee members. So I'll keep it there. And I think lastly, I'll pass it to someone from amendments and participation principles to do a quick report out.
Yeah, so that's gonna be Gabrielle. Can I pass it to you, please?
Yeah. Okay, so one of the things that came up was the language around effective and reasonable goals, and the word reasonable is a word that is often weaponized to shut down conversations about things that can actually change. So one word that came up would be maybe ambitious or measurable would be better words for the kind of goals that we should be coming up with. And then another thing that came up was just around, if we are accountable for this kind of, for a certain level of participation, what's the other side of that in terms of the obligations of BACMed and CBE, just to sort of ensure that we have what we need to fulfill our obligations as members.
Thanks, Gabrielle. And so with that, I just wanted to open up this space to the steering committee and members of the public and basically anyone participating tonight, and see if you guys had any additional questions or comments or feedback about the charter development process. So yeah, I will stop talking, see if there's any hands. Go ahead, Charles, I saw your hand go.
Yeah, I wanted to remind everybody just how important this document is. This document will define us from now until the future. And one of the things that was brought up was that this is a living document, so that any committee member could ask to bring something up to change it. And I feel like this, and this is open for discussion, but I hope that we can understand that this is a legacy leaving document. And to make it so easy to arbitrarily change by having a 50+1 vote would seem to be disingenuous to what this work is really about. This work is about getting things done and making sure that the policies that we are adopting now will support future administrations of this CERP. And so for changes to the charter, I think it should take an extremely higher vote by the steering committee to change it. I would like to ask that we consider for changes to this particular document, the charter and our governance structure, to have to take a higher vote, something like 3/4 of the steering committee, because I'm just saying that we have to also think about what could possibly happen in the future to bog us down and to become a deterrent to progress. And so that's my suggestion.
Yeah, Charles, thank you for that suggestion. I do feel like in the roles and responsibilities and standard committee meeting procedure section, I think we also heard that feedback too around there maybe being a need to increase that number around around the voting and having it be higher, so that rather than it being 50%, quorum being 50% +1, it would be a little bit higher. So we can definitely take that text and that suggestion and rewrite that back into the charter before we send you guys the next draft to review. I think in terms of hands that went up, I'm so sorry if I get them wrong, but I think it was Cynthia and then Gabrielle.
Yes, good evening, everyone. It's always so good to see you all. Happy New Year. You know, I have been talking a lot, I've been listening a lot. And one thing that's really kind of heavy in my spirit right now, as we've been going through this process, is that I really want East Oakland residents, the community folk, to have as much input. And maybe that means making some more edits outside of this space. I give you an example. I brought up the concept of, if we have in-person meetings, we need childcare stipends. We need to prioritize families. And I myself, as a full-time working mother, the fact that you have someone, and this is no disrespect, no shade, that you have folks in industry and these bigger organizations that I've never even heard of that concept really disturbs me, because folks in the community know about this. This is very grassroots. And I really want the folks that are most impacted, the residents, all of this, to give as much input as possible. Maybe there's a possibility to give a timeline of the next couple of weeks, a Google Doc, and we add our edits and contributions, because I'm worried that this, like Charles was saying, we really need to be able to solidify this and build the foundation now so we can move forward with this good work. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Cynthia. That is a really great point, and that is the kind of feedback that we want to hear from you guys during these meetings. I do want to clarify that you guys will have an opportunity to provide more comment on this document. So we will be sending out the documents that you took a look at today, and you all will have, I believe, until February 20th to go into that document, review the text, look at other folks' comments, and provide your own feedback and changes to the charter as well. So just, yeah, FYI, you guys, this is not the only time that you'll be able to see this charter. There is more opportunity for you guys to participate and provide your perspective and lens to the charter as well. And Gabrielle, I saw your hand went up. Did you still have a comment or question? No, okay. Okay, I'll pause and see if there's any other hands. I think we have about 3 more minutes in our report out. Go ahead.
Who did you go with, Carissa?
Marina has her hand up.
Sí. Pues yo quería comentar, ¿verdad? Hace rato lo estaba comentando, ¿verdad?
I wanted to comment. I made the comment earlier that those that should decide should be community members because we are the most impacted or affected. We should have more members. We should have more individuals from the community because community members are the ones who know really well what the problems are, right? Not individuals that come from offices or business, people that don't do the work. The owners are there to pollute, not necessarily to help us. And I should say that because I've done a study where the factory people were keeping an eye on us, seeing what we were doing. So it isn't recommended to invite people from businesses. I think for me, it would be better for community members who are most affected that should be the ones that opine because they are the ones that know the work that has been done previously and right now what we are doing too. They have a long time living in their communities, so they know more. And besides that, I was talking about meetings that many individuals need babysitting, childcare, need transportation, and then interpretation, like is being done right now. All of that is based that we can have a good job or that we can be very united, go out in the community and talk to community members and to churches and to be collaborative in general, but to listen to the individuals and to listen to the communities is what we should know and do so that we can do a better job. And that the community members need to be present working on this project because there are so many people that know about all of these projects and can be there. Thank you.
Thank you, Marina. One of the things I did think that we forgot to do is we wanted to also find out what the public thinks regarding this conversation also. And although they weren't in the room with us, we would like to make sure that we give them the opportunity to be included in this discussion. And so let's make sure that we make some room for any of our community members to have to jump in.
Yes, thank you for that, Charles. And thank you as well, Marina, for your comments and your feedback. I'll pause to see if there's any feedback from members of the public that joined. So I see 2 hands went up, Tanya and then Sochi.
Hello, I just want to say, first of all, I'd like to say thank you to Lejeanne and also to Charles for inviting me to come and to participate this evening and to learn from the people in the breakout room that I was with. I don't really have a lot of feedback on what I heard. I'm in the learning stage, basically. And so far, I think that there's been a lot of good work done. And I think that the few comments that I did make in my breakout room were really very well received and I believe will be incorporated in. So I just want to thank you guys for all of what you've done thus far and for the invitation to come in, be part of what you're doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tanya. I'll pass it to you next, Sochi. Are folks able to hear?
No.
No, it could be frozen. Sachil, are you unmuted?
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had my AirPods and I don't think it was working. I was just going to say, I wonder if I feel like there's a very small youth population in this space, and I'd like to include more young people. I wonder, and I'm willing to advocate and go in person for schools in OUSD in particular, especially in the East Oakland community around Arroyo Viejo and also around the Coliseum. Wondering if that's possible. I'm also willing to reach out to all city council. I'm not sure if y'all are familiar with that, but their student council representing OUSD. And I have personal connections to certain schools, and I'm willing to put in that work. It's just a matter of whether or not y'all would want to take that route, just because I know so many students who would be super passionate about this, but they don't have access to these programs or to these communities where, and these faces where y'all are all super passionate about it, but this work isn't known, and I want it to I want them to be able to connect with this, even if it's just joining a meeting or giving this feedback or maybe a form. Yeah, let me know if y'all are interested in that.
Thank you, Xochi. I think that's a really great idea. And I think I'll speak for myself, would love the idea of incorporating more youth on this steering committee. And so I think that's definitely a suggestion we will take back and talk with CBE and our co-chairs about expanding the roles of the youth and their participation on this steering committee. I know we're a little bit past time for the report out, but I just wanted to quickly go over the next steps for you guys in regards to the charter. So we will be sending out the draft charter to the steering committee for additional comments. And so you guys will have until February 20th at noon to provide additional comments on the draft charter. After the comment period closes, the co-leads and co-chairs will review the draft charter and work to start adopting and making changes based off of the feedback and edits that you guys provided. And then from there, we will hopefully bring the new draft charter, revised draft charter to the March meeting for a steering committee vote and approval. And so with that, I will close out the charter development activity section of tonight's meeting. Again, thank you all so much for your participation and joining in on this discussion. And I will pass it over to our co-chair, Ayana.
Actually, that would
Thank you so much. Before we get started, I wanted to go ahead and bring Lujane to the floor. I wanted her to make it step to the floor really quickly. Lujane, are you around?
Yeah, hello.
Hi, yes. I wanted you to, I know we have the floor, and I wanted to take time out to thank everybody for coming, especially those that are part of the city council, our local government. We wanted to thank them for coming and participating in this event, and give them the floor if they had anything they wanted to say at this time.
Well, I just want to thank you all for the work that you've led. I've long waited for AB 617 to come to East Oakland. I participated in the West Oakland AB 617 committee. I'm Treva Reed. I serve as the council member in Deep East Oakland District 7. And so thank you for how you're leading us forward. And I am happy to support and participate in every way that I am allowed to now as an elected official with the charter protocols and processes, as well as my staff who's been participating from Mateo and Haley outside of me being present. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Reed. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it.
And I do remember Kaplan being here also. Is they still here?
No, I think they left.
Okay, so now we can move on to our next stage.
Oh, Charles, actually, we have the planning director for the city of Oakland with their hand up.
Oh, okay.
I'll be fast. Again, really just echoing Councilmember Reed's gratitude to the group for the initiative that you're undertaking and building on work that has happened across the city and really making it unique and focused for East Oakland. And want to let you all know that we're here to assist you in any way we can as well. I was in a breakout room with some wonderful exchange, both on content in terms of the actual mission you have and how you're going to structure yourselves to address it. So I'm very excited about this initiative and this could work, and we're here to help you also. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it. And so we do have a presentation that we had scheduled, and we want to make sure we're able to get that presentation in. And so we do have Kimberly Jones from Miss Kaplan office. So let Kimberly speak right quick, and then we'll move on.
Good evening, everyone. Councilmember Kaplan had to leave us early, but I wanted to say thank you so much for having us. We look forward to next steps and being able to help bring this into fruition, whatever we can do to be helpful. Hours late, so I won't say any more. Thanks so much.
Thank you. And now I think we would like to move on to our presentation. And this will be done in our East Oakland Environmental Justice Announcements and Updates section. So for all of our community members in the future, if there is something that you would like to bring to our attention, this will be your space to do that. But today we actually have a presentation, so we want to get to that presentation as quick as possible.
Idania, are you here?
Yes, good evening, everyone. Hola a todos y todas. My name is Idania Zamora. I work at the climate protection team at their district, and I know we're short on time, so I wanted to make a brief announcement of a program that might benefit communities, including East Oakland, overburdened communities. The program is called Bay Area Healthy Homes Initiative, and it seeks to improve health outcomes and climate resilience in these communities. The program is really a partnership to support two aspects: a healthy and resilient person through in-home asthma services, asthma consumer supplies, air pollution education, as well as a healthy and resilient home with funding to remove health triggers, reduce hands exposure, and increase energy efficiency to bring more disposable income back in the hands of the folks that live in these houses. So the program is serving serving asthma patients and residents in the most impacted areas by traffic air pollution. And you can find the criteria and the details about the program in our website, bayaqmd.gov/BAHI or BAHHI. And next slide, please. And I'll quickly, oh, there it is. And I'll quickly close out by mentioning the folks that are partnering in this program. The Air District is secured the grant for this particular services, and it's leading the program coordination. BayREN, or the Bay Area Regional Energy Network, is helping us conduct outreach and helping folks layer incentives. So the program works with the client and not only brings funding from this $2 million, but also layers incentives that the homeowner may be entitled to. The local health departments in Contra Costa County and Alameda County are providing the asthma services. And then we have a nonprofit, which is helping with the home retrofits that are doing all the things I mentioned before. So all these partners are joining together to bring this program and really help folks, particularly asthma patients. So if you know anybody, please send them to our website and see there's a map to see if you qualify, and then there's information from there to find the right contact. Thank you, everybody. Muchas gracias a todos y todas.
Idania, can you put the website in the chat, please?
Absolutely, I will drop
Thank
it in
you.
there.
Thank you, Idania.
Yes, and thank you very much for that presentation. This section of our meeting, we
Una
wanted to carve out special space for our community members' voices to be heard. And because during these meetings, you hear so much from us, but we need to hear from you. We need to hear from our community members. If you have a special issue that you feel needs to be presented, we have city council members here. This is an opportunity for us to speak directly to our neighbors and to power. And because we want this CERP to actually have some teeth and power to it. And so I hope that we'll be using this space for the purpose it's meant for, which is to grow what we're doing and to find out what other people are doing so we could break down some of these silos that have kept us separated for so long. And so we do have 6 minutes left. And so I'm sure there's some comments that want to be made. So please feel free. Raise your hand and someone will call on you.
Marina's hand is up.
Mi pregunta es esta, ¿verdad? Para las
My
señoritas.
question is about this information about the asthma programs. I don't know where we could connect for people who have asthma and the homeowners, if they don't want to fix, like, for example, the windows that are so old and they're full of like mold in the bathrooms. I don't know, how could we talk to these people? Where can we communicate? To which program?
Sí. Hola Marina, sí le puedo contestar en español, si está bien. Is it okay if I answer in
It's
Spanish?
okay. Is it okay if I answer in Spanish?
Para este programa, más bien
For this program,
se le
it's
dan
really,
a
they give funds,
diferentes organizaciones
the different organizations
y esos
in
fondos
the
ayudan
name of
a
the client, and those funds help also,
alfombras
they
y
help
ayudar con cosas
switch
que dañan
old
la salud.
carpets, windows, things that damage asthma patients' health. It's not a program to enforce exactly the building codes, but you could contact the health department. It depends on where you live. For example, if you're in East Oakland, you could contact the Department of Health of Alameda and bring
preocupaciones y ellos les pueden
and tell them your
poner
worries.
la
I'm
información en
going
el
to
chat.
put the information in the chat
El número
where
donde
you
puede
could,
contactarlo, que
the
también está
number
en el-
where you
en
can
el chat.
contact them, and it's also on the website.
¿Y cómo los califican? Porque ahí dice que
And
califican.
how do we qualify? Because you said we have to qualify.
Tres factores de
There's three criteria, and they're all on the website, but you have to live
edad que está
in a community that is very affected by pollution. You have to be 1,000 feet by traffic pollution, and you have to have asthma. It's all the information is there on the website in the chat. Thank you very much. Of course, Marina, have a good day.
I put some of the information here in the chat. There's all the criteria informations in the website for Bahi, as well as some of the contacts that I referred Marina to. Yeah.
And Charles, I see that Tanya is also has her hand raised. Would you like her to go next?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Hi, gang. So, Charles, let me know, is this a good time for me to talk about Justice 40, or is that at a different time?
This is community announcement time. So feel free. We have a few more minutes, so feel free.
Okay, so yeah, so one of the things that I was hoping to bring to the group today is that Environmental Democracy Project is working with We Act, which, excuse me, I'm eating dinner as I'm having this meeting, is working with We Act, which is a national environmental justice organization, in bringing an toxic tour to Oakland. So I don't know how many folks here have heard of the Justice 40 initiative, but it's kind of part of the whole Biden initiative around environmental justice, that 40% of the money set aside should be used by small community groups within the most impacted neighborhoods. And so We Act is acting as sort of an accelerator. And they're going around the country and focusing the attention of national and state regulators on the problems of our communities to help us to prepare ourselves to get some of the various grants that are going to be coming from the federal government. I'm sorry, I have the cough, excuse me. Pardon me. So that's going to be happening in late March. And I am looking for a collaboration from other organizations. I had an opportunity to have a really terrific meeting with Lujan, and she did me the favor. Excuse me, I have no idea what's going on. Of course, right when you get to start talking. She connected me with some of the people who do toxic tours at CBE. And I'm hoping to have their collaboration. I've been in conversation with East Oakland Collective and also East Oakland Youth Development, and also Oakland Teachers Activated for Climate Action. I think that's what they're called. Anyway, a couple of nonprofits that are in this area. Excuse me. Something went down the wrong windpipe. Couple of other nonprofits that are in this area. And so I thought that coming to this group and explaining about it and putting myself out would be a great way to make more connections with more of you who are doing the work and who can help me to brainstorm about the things that need to be highlighted on this tour. So the map of the tour hasn't been set yet. And that's really what I'm looking for, is thought partners about the sites that should be part of the tour. And I'm gonna get some water and mute myself. And if anyone has any questions or thoughts, I'll listen to you for a second.
Actually, we are at 8 o'clock right now. And I would like to ask if we have any more hands up. And if someone could tell me yes or no, or I figure no.
No more hands up.
So think about this, you guys. We just had our first co-chair meeting and we finished right on time. Now, if that ain't a good job, don't tell me nothing. I'm really proud of that, everybody. And I'm glad that we had this vibrant discussion, and we're looking forward to you sending your notes in or your concerns or questions to staff during in the intermediary of our next meeting, because we want to make sure that everybody's voice has a chance to get heard. And my co-chair, if you would like to say good night to everyone for a great meeting.
Absolutely. I want to thank everybody for coming out, their inputs, their suggestions, their opinions. All of that is needed in order to make this concrete. So I want to thank everybody who came out, our community, our CSC members, as well as our local government and representatives. Thank you guys for everything. Happy New Year's, and we'll see you the next run.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye. Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Great
Have a good night.
job. Great job.
Good
Great work, you guys. Great work.
night. Bye, Ernesto.